Welcome back guys to another top 5 video, and today we're taking a look at top 5 dinos that have been replaced. Before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to all the new subscribers that have come along and all the new viewers. Now what this video will explore is that dinos that have pretty much lost their use in Ark because of better and stronger dinos coming in to take their places. So we'll be looking at 5 of those dinos and what has replaced them. So obviously number 1 on the list is the Stego. Now the Stego is the giant herbivore with plates on its back that gathers berries and deals a decent amount of damage. However, it is so slow. You can see there, look how fast we are moving. This is his full sprinting speed, and you know, he's just not that great anymore. He's too bulky to move around. He's pretty ugly to look at if I'm being honest, and he doesn't have that great of movement speed or melee damage in comparison to the other herbivores that you can tame in his place. So a replacement for this guy is obviously something like the Dinosaurs, who for example is able to deal a lot more damage to dinos, gather a lot more. He has the harvesting levels bonus as well as that, and you know, he's just an all-around better mount. Look how much faster he is than the Stego. He's much faster than the Stego. He's able to gather fiber, thatch, wood, berries, as well as that he is able to do PvP and do a crap ton of damage to other dinos. You can see they were able to gather wood, thatch, rare mushrooms, quite a lot more than what the Stego is capable of gathering. That's why the Stego is number 1 on this list. Now, number 2 is the Sarco. The Sarco was once probably one of my favorite mounts to use in Ark because he didn't require oxygen while swimming underwater, he didn't use stamina while underwater, and he was relatively fast. However, now with the introduction of the Cjthecheesedj and the Baryonyx, he's kind of irrelevant now because you've got other dinos that can fulfill his role. And you know, he does do a decent amount of melee damage. However, he's way too slow on land and just way too big and bulky. Like, look at that, we're getting stuck in the reeds. You know, he's got a decent amount of movement speed on land. However, we can't seem to attack things. He does a decent amount of damage. However, you know, this can be improved upon with the Cjthecheesedj and the Sarco the Baryonyx, for example. Sarco's the one we're riding. You can see here, the Cjthecheesedj is pretty much exactly the same as the Sarco. He's a little bit slower in water, but he's much faster on land, which makes up for it. Now, as well as that, the Cjthecheesedj has the giant leaping attack, which you can use in water and out of water, which is really useful. Now, the reason why our Cjthecheesedj is also much slower than the Sarco is because he has a lower carrier weight, which means he's able to carry less than the Sarco, which kind of sucks. However, he still makes up for this with his leaping attack, as well as the ability to strike faster than the Sarco does. And he's a lot more maneuverable than the Sarco is. Number 3 is the Trike. Now, the Trike is pretty much the exact same reason as the Stego. It's slow, it's bulky, and its melee damage isn't that great in comparison to other dinos. As well as that, the Trike's stamina is pretty rubbish when it comes into comparison with the newer dinos that are out on Ark. And he has, like I said, he does have a decent amount of carry weight. You can see there 445 for a level 67. He does have a decent amount of health. However, his stamina and his melee damage are a bit on the lacking side. And as well as that, he is able to gather quite a bit. However, he's really limited to berries and small amounts of thatch, which, you know, isn't really helping anyone here. So, you know, you kind of want to keep the Trike as your first kind of tame to get the initial berries that you need to tame higher level herbivores. But other than that, move on to say something like the Megatherium, for example, because he's able to gather fiber, thatch, berries, you know, at a really fast rate in comparison to the Trike. He's able to do it while on the move, and he deals a crap ton more damage than the Trike. You see there, just a few swings of our claws, and we've gotten a full inventory of fiber, berries, thatch, you know, everything. So he's really impressive. As well as that, he has a much better weight and health distribution. As well as that, he's able to gather chitin at a really extreme rate, and he does the extra damage to bugs. So you can see there, we're doing 60 damage with our primary attack, and then 93 with our secondary attack. Now, this isn't including the bonus we get from killing a bug and then gaining that extra 125%. So you can see here why the Trike has been replaced for, because, you know, he's just not up to the standards of the Megatherium. Even the Dinosaurs or mammoths, for example, are still better than the Trike in my honest opinion, and due to, you know, stat comparison and everything like that, it's just not really worth it anymore. Number 4 I've classed into 2. So we've got the Scorpion and the Uranio. Now, you know, these guys just aren't as good as they were before when they first started in Ark. And with the addition of all the new dinos and creatures that you can tame up, they're just not that great anymore. Granted, the Scorpion still does his torpor damage, you know. He's still rather good at dealing torpor damage. It's not really much in comparison to the Beelzebufo, for example. You know, the Scorpion doesn't have that great of health. It's only got a small amount of health. You can see there, 940 health. Really small amounts of weight. You know, it's just not that great. It's not very mobile. Granted, it's able to climb up cliffs really well, which is a bonus. But other than that, it doesn't really have anything going for it. You could easily swap out the Uranio or the Pulmioscorpius for, say, a Beelzebufo, for example. You know, anything else that deals torpor and is highly mobile. The Equus, for example, the Paki, you know, you're not really limited. The Spider never really had anything going for itself. It could shoot web, and, you know, that was pretty much it. It didn't really do much outside of that, other than webbing its opponents. So, you know, it's really not that great. Same as the Scorpion. It doesn't deal that much torpor damage in comparison to the other dinos that you can tame nowadays. You can see here, the Beelzebufo is much more mobile than the Scorpion and the Uranio. You know, put together, it can jump. It has 2 attacks, both which do torpor damage. The secondary attack does more torpor damage than the first. So, you know, the Beelzebufo is much more better than the Scorpion and the Uranio, in my opinion. And, you know, stats-wise, he is slightly better as well. You know, he is kind of lacking in the health department, but, you know, you make up for that in the mobility. Same as the weight. He has slightly less weight, but, you know, you can still level that up and just, you know, not carry much on you. So, yeah, the Scorpion and the Uranio are kind of a in comparison to the Beelzebufo. Number 5 is the Carno. Now, the Carno was the pinnacle of carnivores when Ark first debuted. You know, being your mid-range carnivore that you would get after the Raptor, before the Rex, you'd get this guy up. And don't get me wrong, he is really powerful. However, with the addition of the newer dinos, like you saw there, the Baryonyx, this guy is kind of irrelevant nowadays. He's got his knockback attack, which does a decent amount of damage, as well as his binding attack, which also deals the same amount of damage. But, you know, other than that, he doesn't really have anything else going for him. He doesn't have any other kind of cool mobility movement things. He's really slow in water. You know, he's got short, stubby arms. He's kind of ugly to look at, if I'm being honest. You can get much cooler dinos that, you know, substitute for the Carno. The Baryonyx being one of them, he's much faster than the Carno. He is lacking a little bit less in the melee damage. But, you know, he does have a faster strike rate, and as well as that, you can take him underwater. Now, on top of the Baryonyx, you could also sub out the Baryonyx for, say, example, the Allosaurus, which impacts is incredibly powerful and definitely not something you want to mess with because they are so powerful. He's got the bleed damage. You can see here, the Baryonyx, he's powerful, but, you know, you can easily swap him out for a Carno. It's just, you know, it's not really worth taming anymore. We can tame something much more powerful than a Carno. You know, he's got his underwater attack that does the spinning stun. So, you know, if you're not happy with the Baryonyx, you can swap him out for an Allosaurus. They're still better than the Carno. So, yeah, otherwise, that'll be it for today, guys. Let me know what you thought of the list. Let me know if you agree with me or not. But other than that, guys, that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.